All right, in this assignment, I'll go through each different part that may be different. Like, for example, I will do this one. I'm only going to do one of those, probably number 2. I will do number 4 because 5 is the same. I'll show you how to do 6, help you walk through that, and then I'll do I'll probably do 7, okay? But the rest you do, you can follow along with me. Pause the video if you need. Anyway, so here we go. I will probably do some teaching with this as well. But on this first one, if I don't know where the center of a circle is, we're going to use our knowledge of perpendicular bisectors and find it out, because we know the center is somewhere around there. I could probably guess that it's right there, but anyway, we'll see. So it starts by drawing a chord. A chord, C-H-O-R-D, a chord, you don't need to write this down, but so you know what I'm saying. A chord is a line segment that touches a circle in both spots. All right, so a line can either, I'll draw this, can either not intersect the circle, can intersect the circle only once, and that's called tangent, or in 2 places, creating a chord. All right, so we're going to draw chords. Pardon my eraser dust. My goal is to get this video in less than 5 minutes, so we'll see. Maybe I'm wasting time. So we're going to draw a chord. I'm just going to pick a chord. Maybe I'll do it just right there. So I'll draw a chord like that. So it's touching the circle here and here. Now I'm going to do a perpendicular bisector of this chord, and that is something we've done a lot of. Make sure you have your compass set to at least more than half the length of the chord. It doesn't matter if it's more. And we're going to go on each end. I'll put my compass here and make a mark on one side of the line and a mark on the other, just like we've done before. Switch to the other end, make a mark there where it intersects, and then I'll make a mark there also. And then I'll connect them. Put my pencil on one, slide the protractor to it, rotate it. Then it moved a little bit. And right there, I think that's it. And then I really am only concerned about this part of the circle, so that's the only part I'm going to draw. This is also a chord, but it's a special chord called the diameter. It is the largest chord in a circle. There's no other place I can put, well, that's just the biggest distance, that's the furthest distance, and it goes somewhere in here on this line will be the center point. And the way to find that is to now divide this line in exact half by doing another bisector. So I'm going to rotate the paper a little bit like this so I can see it better and manage my compass better. I will set my compass to a distance. Now it's already a good distance. I'll make it a little bit bigger because I think the further away sometimes it's easier to make marks. And I'll use that distance to make a mark from one end of this chord up above and down below, and it's going to run into my words. From the other end of the chord, make a mark, and right there, and it's intersecting in my word, but that's okay. Then I'm going to connect this and that. I think it's easier if I put my pencil on it first. And I don't need to draw the whole line, I just need to draw right there, because that's the center of my circle, right there. And if I needed to find the radius, I could set my compass there and do whatever. I could copy the circle now. Anyway, so that one's done. This next one constructs a line segment tangent to the circle through a given point. So there's a point here and a point here. There's another video where I talk about just that, but this is going to cover all of them. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm first going to draw a line from the center of the circle, going through that point and beyond. Because a line that's tangent to the circle in only one place will be perpendicular to the radius. So there will be a line that'll be perpendicular right here. There'll be a line going this way. The problem is, if I try to eyeball it, I don't know if that's perpendicular or if that is, or if that is. I mean, so I could rotate that a lot, but what we're going to do is we're going to create a perpendicular line to this point using our compass. We've done it before. We need to be able to have So shorten your compass so we can have this at the center, this part right there at the center, and I can make marks on both sides of the line. So that's good. And then if I flip my compass, it'll make a mark there. So it is important when you draw that line that it goes at least past it. I tend to make it at least as much as it is here. I make as much outside. So when I make the compass, when I do that, it'll strike in both places. So I put my compass on that part and I make a mark here. Then I rotate and I make a mark there. I want a perpendicular bisector. So now I'm going to use this spot and make a mark up here. So I do need to make my compass bigger, which should be, I'm going to do it maybe about like that. I'm imagining, a distance, something like that. It's got to be somewhere up here. So make your compass again, make a mark here, make a mark there, switch to the other intersection, make a mark there and there, then connect the lines. And then this line is exactly wait, what happened? Something happened. All right, I'm going to find out what I did wrong, which is good. It's okay if you see me make a mistake, but I got to see why that didn't do. So go back. I really don't want to redo this video, so that's the same. That's the same. I will now adjust this to be out here. Maybe, I think I might have moved it here. I think that's what I did. So I make a mark there and make a mark there. That's what I did. That's totally what I did. Then make a mark here and make a mark there. So disclaimer, watch the video all the way through before starting this. Okay, so line that up, line this up right there, and then this is perpendicular to the circle at that point that's on the circle. And again, that hits at a 90-degree angle. The radius and a line tangent at the radius intersection will always be 90 degrees. Always. Same thing on number 3, flipping it over. Let's look at number 4 and 5. I'll move the camera up a little bit. 4 and 5 are the same, except now the point that we want to include in our tangent is way over here. So in other words, I'm going to have a line that looks like it's going to connect here and just touch the circle there, and another one that goes through that line and touches there, something like that. But I'll show you how to draw that. You start by making a line segment that contains the center of the circle. I think that looks about right. And the point you're concerned about. And then we're going to make a perpendicular bisector of that line. Set your compass. Oh, we've heard this many, many times before. To at least more than half. Mark above, mark below, switch sides, mark above, mark below. The goal is to find the exact half between the point and the center of the circle. We want exactly half. And so I don't really need the whole line, I just need that part right there. And I'm going to measure that distance by putting my compass, I'm going to put the compass point on that center and change my compass to that distance right there. So that distance is the same there and there. Now I'm going to use that distance from here. I'm going to make, it's like a circle, like I'm going to make this mark right there on the circle, that there. And you can kind of see the entire circle would be including that, but I want the mark here. So the circle I just drew, or the arcs that I just drew, are the radius from halfway to the point. And this mark right here, this spot on the circle, is the point of tangency when I connect a line here. So the line connected to, let's see, a line tangent to the circle going through a point not on the circle. And the same thing right here. Put my pencil there because it's easy to find with a pencil. Slide that up, rotate until it's about there. Draw. And those two lines are tangent, and this is the point of tangency. Now, the other thing, remember I said about the radius, is that this part right here, this is the radius, and when the radius hits that point of tangency, it hits at a 90-degree angle, so that is perpendicular, and the same with this one. So right here, from here to the center, which is the radius, to that line that is tangent, is 90 degrees. Okay? Then this one here, we haven't really talked about it, but this is a rectangle, and since it's a rectangle, this side is congruent with that side. That means same distance. And this one is the same as this. I'm not saying anything about these two being equal. I don't know. In fact, they don't even look the same, but I only know that it's a rectangle, so I can't assume it's a square. Anyway, if I connect the diagonals of this rectangle, they will intersect at the center of a circle that circumscribes the rectangle. So that is the center of the circle. And if I move my compass, set my compass here, set it to the distance to one of the corners, see if you can see that, right there, then that's a circle. And I'm just going to rotate the paper because it's so much easier that way. There we go. And that's all there is to it. So that is the center. And then one last one, drawing a line, or I'm sorry, finding the circle that contains all 3 points. So I'm going to do this one. And again, you need to imagine, and just for this purpose, I'm going to label these A, B, and C. I don't like that B. A, B, and C. I'm going to imagine this is a triangle, and I'm going to do a perpendicular bisector we're basically finding the circumcenter. So if you draw the perpendicular bisectors of at least two sides, you'll find the center. So I'm going to set my compass to be a distance that's more than half of the distance to AB. I can make it bigger, so I'm going to do that. And since I'm drawing the perpendicular bisector of that, I'm going to make a mark here and a mark, wow, that's big, down below. And I'll repeat that on A, mark there, and a mark there. And since I know this is an acute triangle, if I try to envision that, it's an acute triangle, so I know the circumcenter will be in the middle somewhere right here. That's the only part of this line that I need. I'm not really bisecting anything, but I know my center of the circle is going to be somewhere in there. I don't need to draw that whole line. And then I'm going to draw, let's see, a perpendicular bisector of BC, which I'm going to shorten my compass a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing for C and B. Make a mark above. And on the other side, then switch to B. Make a mark there and there. And I just connect them. I don't really need to connect these two. I just need to show where it intersects, and that looks like a good intersection here, where it intersects with that right there. That is the center of the circle that also has those on the circle. So I will now put my compass center on that, make sure it's there, yeah, get my eyeballs working, and I will adjust my compass. Let's see. I'll adjust my compass so you can see it to where it's right on A. And if I did it right, let me see, make a little mark there, kind of commit to it. Rotate the paper around. Oh, good, it's hitting B and C, just like that. So if you're careful and you do it right, it'll hit all of them. And you're going to do the same thing for 8. Okay?